Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham. If you have a comment, email it to me, box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives, and check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/greatdetectives. Today's program is brought to you in part by the financial support of our listeners. You can support the show on a one-time basis, support.greatdetectives.net, and become one of our ongoing Patreon supporters for as little as $2 per month at patreon.greatdetectives.net. But now it is time to get into today's episode of The Man Called X. The original air date, May the 11th, 1951, and the title is Knocked Off His Feet.
Now we present Herbert Marshall as The Man Called X, the Friday night feature on NBC's five-show festival of comedy, music, mystery, and drama. Transcribed for you by Cannon Towels, famous for color, for design, for durability. Among towels, America's #1 best seller. By RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. And by the makers of Anacin for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, neuralgia. Herbert Marshall as The Man Called X. Wherever there is mystery, intrigue, romance, in all the strange and dangerous places of the world, there you will find The Man Called X. But before we set out on tonight's adventure in mystery and drama, here's a word about dramatic values.
Hurry, 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 hurry to the greatest May towel sales in history. Famous Cannon Towel Sales. Packed with value, big, beautiful buys, terrific bargains. Don't miss them. Get to your store now and get in on these great money-saving events. Cannon Towels give you the most for your money in beauty, value, lovely color, and design.
Cannon Towels absorb more, wear longer, stay lovely longer.
No wonder more people buy Cannon Towels than all other towels combined. Get the most for your money. Get Cannon.
Big, fluffy, thirsty Cannon Towels.
As summer comes, you always need more towels. Now's the time to get them. And the towels to get are Cannons, right now in these big Cannon Towel sales. See them in your newspaper. Get to your store quickly. Get in on the big, big, big Cannon values.
It has been said many times, of course, that wherever there is danger in all the far-off places of the world, there you will find Ken Thurston, the Man Called X. And rare it is when Ken finds time to sleep even one night in his own Manhattan apartment. And rarer still when he sleeps there uninterrupted.
Ken Thurston speaking.
Mr. Thurston, you're home.
Oh, Pegon.
Only by living such a good, clean life do I get so lucky.
Oh, sure. What time is it anyway?
Well, here it's one time, there's some other. Who knows? Mr. X, you gotta help me.
Help you what? Why do I have to do it at 5 a.m.? So long, you. Call me later.
Mr. Thurston, wait.
Wait nothing. Go get some sleep.
But you don't understand. I just run into a dead man.
Oh, fine. Now get yourself a hotel room and sober up.
But it's true, Mr. X. He just got in from Honolulu, and I met him accidentally in San Francisco, and then he brought me down here, and you know who it is? It's George Koloff.
George Koloff? Oh, Koloff's been dead for 6 months.
That's what I told him, but he says he can explain the whole thing. Mr. Thurston, I'm scared. I think he's planning to give me the business.
Where are you calling from? Where are you now?
Who knows? It's a big house that belongs to somebody down here at...
Pegon. Operator.
I'm sorry, sir. Your party has hung up.
Operator, this is Ken Thurston.
Oh, yes, Mr. Thurston.
Will you trace that call, please, and phone me at the bureau right away?
you come right down to it, Ken, there was never any actual proof that Karloff was killed in that plane.
I know, Chief. It was more a matter of reasonable assumption.
Right.
But the plane did crash at sea. There's no question of that. Records washed up along the California coast for weeks afterward.
But apparently Karloff didn't crash with it. Unless you don't think Zellschmidt's trying to pull a fast one of some kind, Ken?
No, I don't think so. I'd say Karloff just outguessed us.
Well, we aren't the only ones he outguessed. Walked into that Los Angeles aircraft plant wearing a phony beard, handed them a forged letter, and flew off in their latest model test plane. Their top secret job.
Yeah, and he's been doing things like that for years, Chief. One of the slickest boys in the whole espionage business.
Well, at least he slipped up on that job.
Maybe.
Huh?
I got a hunch that plane crash was part of Karloff's plan. But it wasn't an accident.
But what could he gain by it, Ken? The plane itself was the only thing that... Hello? Yes, he's here. Just a second. It's for you, Ken.
Thanks, Chief. Ken Thurston speaking.
This is long-distance operator 74, Mr. Thurston. I have the report you requested on that call.
Yes?
The call was placed from the residence of a Countess de Grazia in Carmel, California.
Countess de Gracia. Carmel, California. Thanks very much, operator. Let's see, I can fly to San Francisco. I can hire a car there. Drive down to...
Ken, who's the Countess de Grazia?
I don't know. At the moment, she's apparently Pegon's hostess.
That's quite a house party. Zellschmidt and a dead man.
A former dead man, Chief. There's a big difference. Call you from Carmel. Well, here we are. Huh? Pegon. Locked. Well. Pegon. Well, shall I let you out, or would you rather beat the door open?
Mr. Thurston!
Just relax now. Well, so that's the game.
What's the good? Oh, we're out of here.
All right, just as soon as I disconnect this booby trap. There. Well, your friend, the Countess, seems to have some unusual ideas of hospitality.
Countess. Hey, Mr. X. The only one I saw was George, the double-crossing crook. He was supposed to pay me $500 to keep my mouth shut. I mean to, well...
You never were much good at blackmail, Pegon.
Mr. Thurston, I swear, but...
Never mind. So he lured you down here from San Francisco and then locked you in a broom closet. Where's he now?
Who knows? I haven't heard a sound for the last hour. I guess he...
Oh. Well, let's take a chance. Countess de Gracia residence?
Hello, is the Countess there?
Not at the moment, but I'm her business agent. Could I help you?
Well, yes, this is the Eureka Travel Agency. Would you tell the Countess that I have a reservation on the Lurline to Hawaii tonight?
I'd be happy to.
I'll have her ticket at the pier office. Oh, and the ship sails in 4 hours, you know.
Yes, I know. I'll tell her. Thanks a lot. Come on, Pegon. I got a car parked out in front.
Where are we going, Mr. Thurston?
Hawaii.
Oh, I'm fine now that... Hawaii? In a car?
We may. If we don't get up to San Francisco before that ship sails.
The way I figured, Mr. Thurston, this Karloff guy just wanted everybody to think he was dead.
That's the way it figures.
You mean I'm right?
Well, you can't always be wrong. It's against the law of averages.
The only thing I can't figure is why... Oops! Hey, are we trying to break a speed record or something?
No, we're trying to find out whether that car back there is following us or... Hold on.
Well, they're sure sticking to us tighter than a wet bathing suit.
I know. And I think it's the same car that was parked down the street from the
Mr.
Countess.
X, they're going to pass us.
Wish I could get some speed out of this thing.
Look, there's a car coming. They're crowding us. Crowding us. Crowding us.
Come on, Pegon. Hey, Pegon, where are you?
Hello, down there.
Hello. Can you come down and give us a hand?
No. Just let me get my first aid kit
Fine. Pegon. Pegon, can you hear me?
I saw your lights go over the bank. Stopped my truck as quick as I could. Is anybody hurt?
I'm all right. I guess my friend's knocked out. Here, help me lift him up.
Right. Okay. Now. The car passed me doing 80 or better. What'd they do, sideswipe you?
I guess so. Happened pretty fast. Yeah, turn the light on his face.
Cut in the forehead. It's not bad. A compress will stop the bleeding. Here. Let me get one here.
One sure thing. We can always count on you boys in an emergency.
Well, when you spend most of your time on the road, you get used to helping people. Never know when you need help yourself. There. You'll be all right in a few minutes.
You heading towards San Francisco by any chance?
No, I'm going south. I'll take you as far as Salinas Junction, though.
Good. I can phone from there.
You, got an important date of some kind up in Frisco?
Oh, very important. It's for the Countess and a dead man.
Huh?
We're sailing for Honolulu together. If I get there in time.
What?
Simply can't do a thing about it in spite of your credentials, Mr. Thurston. Ship sailed 20 minutes ago. That's that.
You know whether the Countess de Gracia was on board?
She was. I escorted her to her stateroom personally.
Did you arrange a reservation for a man named George Koloff?
No, only for the Countess. I wish I could help you, Mr. Thurston, but it's just too late. Ship's probably moving through the Golden Gate right at this minute.
Well, that's fate, Mr. Thurston. Maybe it's all for the best anyway. Those characters are pretty tough cookies. Let's go get some seafood, eh?
That's a good idea, Pegon. Only I'm having mine on board that ship.
I just told you, Mr. Thurston.
Never mind. You know where I can charter a fast launch in a hurry?
Yes.
Good. Now, I'm going to put call through to New York on this phone. You use the other one there to get the Lurleen by radiophone. I'll talk to the purser if you can get him. Or if not, the captain. Now, hurry.
Mr. Thurston, you mean we got to climb all the way up to the deck on that little ladder?
Yeah, now wait, Pegon. Don't get caught between the launch and the side of the ship.
Way to the launch, rise into the swell, then grab the ladder, Mr. Thurston.
Right. Watch it, Pegon. Get ready. Here we go. So long, boys. Thanks for the lift.
I don't know why I didn't desert while we were still on dry land. Climbing up ladders in the middle of the ocean. People trying to kill us.
Oh, relax, Pegon. Now you'll have another chance to blackmail Koloff.
Hey, I never thought of that.
Here, let me give you a hand.
Thanks.
That's it.
Well, we seem to have quite a welcoming committee.
Well, it's a little unusual to break the schedule, slow down the ship, and take on passengers
I
at sea.
imagine, yeah.
But I've had radio calls from New York, Washington, the Maritime Bureau, even from the owners of the line.
Well, I pulled all the rank I could think of to get aboard, Purser.
Yes, sir. My name's Blake. I've arranged a pair of cabins for you, assigned your table, and... Oh, here's one of your table companions now.
I was afraid I would have to make myself obvious, Mr. Blake.
Countess, this is Mr. Ken Thurston, Countess de Grazia.
I've been looking forward to this, Countess.
Really? Well, I must say it is a little unexpected on my side.
Oh, you have to admit that neither of your two attempts was particularly clever.
Touché.
I didn't know that you had met.
Only indirectly, Mr. Blake.
Yes. And now that we do come face to face, we are outside the 12-mile limit. Fortunately.
Which means, of course, that we can make our own rules. Tell me, how's George?
Koloff? Oh, I think you are going to be a highly entertaining dinner companion, Mr. Thurston.
I'll try my best. Maybe we'll find we have a lot of things in common. Like airplanes and espionage, ghost stories and George. Oh, yes, especially George.
We will continue with The Man Called X in just a moment.
Here's a word from RCA Victor. What the fireplace was to early American homes, the television set is to modern American homes. It's the center not only to your life, but your living room. So be smart. Insist not only on RCA Victor million-proof television, proven in well over 2 million homes, but on RCA Victor million-proof television in a console cabinet. You have your choice of a breathtaking variety of RCA Victor console models, every one a furniture masterpiece, worthy to occupy the most important place in your living room. Period models like the Regency and the Rutland and the Hillsdale, which look like treasures straight out of an 18th century palace. Classic models like the Provincial, whose simple dignity makes it equally fitting for cottage or castle. Streamlined models like the Modern, a clean-line, functional beauty on a swivel base. See your RCA Victor dealer tomorrow for your RCA Victor television console. And to you and your family, in every sense of the word, happy looking.
And now to continue with The Man Called X, starring Herbert Marshall with Leon Belasco as Pegon Zellschmidt. An international espionage agent named George Koloff, supposedly dead for 6 months, is seen in a San Francisco bar, and the resulting chase finally leads Ken Thurston to a cabin aboard his ship, now 1 day out of Honolulu. Also aboard is Koloff's confederate, the Countess de Grazia, but so far the quarry himself has not been found.
As far as I'm concerned, Mr. X, I don't even care if we never find that character.
Oh? What's happened to your enthusiasm, Pegon?
Enthusiasm? I've looked at passengers all week until I'm green in the face. And so what if I did find him? You wouldn't let me blackmail him anyhow.
So that was your reason for trailing him down to Carmel?
Well, why not? He's a crook.
No.
Yes, he is.
Now, we dock in Honolulu tomorrow, and as far as I've been able to find out, Koloff isn't on board. Why not?
Oh, don't ask me.
He admitted to you that he'd just come from Hawaii. And as soon as he talked to the Countess, she headed for there. Just doesn't make sense that he wouldn't go along with her.
Doesn't make sense to me either way, Mr. Thurston.
I don't think that stolen plane crashed accidentally. I think Koloff planned it that way. But why? And where does the Countess come into it? Why this trip to Honolulu? Unless
what, Mr. X?
It's a possibility. Let's see, the purser, 272.
I wish I knew what you're talking about.
Hello, Mr. Blake? Ken Thurston. Say, I wonder if you can meet me in the baggage hold in 5 minutes. Yes, it may be very important. Goodbye.
Let's see now. The Countess de Grazia's baggage should be in cubicle 17 right here ahead of us, Mr. Thurston. Of course, she has a pair of wardrobe trunks and some other luggage with her in her cabin.
I know, and it'll be tough to get into it. I'm hoping we find something here.
Find what, Mr. Thurston?
I don't know, Pegon.
Oh, here we are. Now, her things are right against the bunker here, I believe. These 2 steamer trunks and this wooden case.
Well, the trunks could be legitimate. But this wooden case... Heavy, too, Mr. Blake. Have you got anything we'd use to pry the lid off?
Well, one of these steel cargo wedges ought to do the job. Don't say we, though, Mr. Thurston. My orders to cooperate only go so far.
Oh, thanks. Maybe a wild goose chase, but it's well trying.
Oh, I wish somebody would tell me. What are we looking?
I did tell you, Pegon. I don't know. Well, let's see what the Countess is taking.
It looks awful complicated. Do you know what it is, Mr. Thurston?
Yeah, I know what it is. One of the latest models of the new robot stabilizer for jet fighter planes. A top military secret.
Well.
So that was Koloff's game.
What do you mean?
He wasn't after the whole plane, only this stabilizer. He must have taken it off, parachuted into the water with it, and left the plane to crash into the ocean. I wonder if the Countess owns a yacht.
As a matter of fact, she does, Mr. Thurston. I heard her discussing it with one of the other passengers a few evenings ago.
And she probably has a prospective buyer for this thing waiting in Honolulu. Only what's happened to her partner, Koloff?
Look, Mr. Thurston. This name on the outside of the case. Leo Bornlin, Honolulu.
Yeah, she's keeping herself covered. In case of trouble, she can claim she never saw the case before. I think I'd better find out a little more about the Countess.
Well, the ship's radio is yours, Mr. Thurston, anytime you want to use it.
Thanks. Meanwhile, I wonder if I could borrow about a dozen of those steel cargo wedges.
Well, champagne. They are going all out this evening.
Last night of the voyage, Countess, is the customary captain's dinner.
And the last one we shall have together, Mr. Thurston. I'm going to miss these delightful little Conversational interludes.
Oh, I thought they'd been more like passages at arms.
But clever. And clever men are so rare. Why, I am sure you must have fathomed all of my darkest secrets by now.
No. I'm afraid you've beaten me there. I imagine you know much more about me than I know about you.
Well, I was born of impoverished but piously honest Ukrainian peasant stock.
Yes, and at the age of 2, you were kidnapped by a roving band of gypsies.
You have found out.
It was only after narrowly avoiding being sold in the slave market in Algiers that you decided to become a spy.
Oh, dear, I had no intention of telling that part.
And it was then that you adopted the name Countess de Grazia.
The Count was quite old and an awful bore. I poisoned him for his title.
Oh, of course.
Let that be a warning to you, Mr. Thurston.
The poison, you mean? Oh. I'm tasting the wine very carefully.
I'm sorry to bother you, Mr. Thurston, but I thought this radiogram might be important.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Blake. Do you mind, Countess?
Not at all. Go right ahead.
Thanks. Uh-huh. But excuse me.
What? Aren't we going to go on with my history, Mr. Thurston?
I don't think so. You see, it's quite unnecessary now. Good night.
I'm starved, Mr. Thurston. What a low-down trick to leave me here alone in this cabin for a whole hour and 10 minutes.
Well, we flipped a coin to see who ate first, Pegon.
I know, but...
Using your double-headed nickel.
Yes, but I thought I had the one with the double tails.
You didn't, though. Here it is.
Oh, a pickpocket. Mr. X, sometimes I think you're as bad as that Countess Cookie.
No, I doubt that. And according to this radiogram, she's not a countess.
What do you mean?
That's only one of the aliases she uses. She manages to hold passports from 3 different countries. Been suspected of espionage over and over and never been convicted. Oh, well, you may as well go on down and eat, Pegon. I'll take care of the baby in the closet there.
Boy, you only have to tell me once. Oh, the great food they got on this boat. The only chance I... Mr. Rex, door's locked.
I see. Well, back away from that porthole.
Hey, somebody shoved the nozzle some kind through the...
That's a live steam hose. Here, into this closet. Quick!
I don't get it, Mr. Thurston. What was the idea?
The idea was to scold us if we... Yeah, there it goes.
Steam. I knew I shouldn't have come to this boat.
Come on now, here. Help me stuff some clothes in the cracks around the door.
It's getting hot. Mr. Rex?
It's going to get hotter. We won't last 2 minutes in here unless...
It's so hot even to... Mr. Thurston, I think...
Hey, young, you may be lucky. It's hotter and hotter. Help! In here. Where?
Here they are. Now give me a hand. That's it. Drag them out into the air. Boy, it's hot in here. That's it. Now, Mr. Thurston. Mr. Thurston, can you hear me?
That's you, Blake?
Yes. What happened, Mr. Thurston?
Somebody tried to boil us with a steam hose.
I can't understand it. Nobody but the crew would know where to find a hose, and they
The
said...
crew? Why, of course.
What?
I double-checked every passenger on board, but I didn't check the crew. Help me up, Mr. Blake. Let's go.
This is Mr. Hawkins, our chief engineer. Mr. Thurston, Charlie.
Oh, how do you do?
I told you about Mr. Thurston's authority.
Oh, yeah. Well, anything I can do to help.
Well, what we're doing is checking the crew, Charlie. We've pretty well covered the deck gang already. Looking for a man named Korloff.
Korloff. No, there's nobody by that name in my bunch.
Well, you're probably using an assumed name, Mr. Hawkins. In fact, how about Bornlin? Leo Bornlin.
Bornlin? Oh, yes. One of my oilers is named Bornlin.
Good.
He's working down there now on the number 2 injector pump. You want to talk to him?
He's the right man. I want a good deal more than just a talk.
Oh, come on. I'll show you where he is. Oh, watch your step. These deck plates get kind of slippery with oil sometimes.
Oh, sure.
Oh, there you are, Mr. Thurston. He's not working in the galley. I looked over the whole bunch.
I think we found him, Pegon. He's the man here in the engine crew with a name the same as the one on that wooden case.
He ought to get life, trying to make a clam bake out of us.
Well, that's Bornlin yonder, bending over that pump slide.
That's him, Mr. Thurston. That's Gordon.
Yeah. Well, the rest of you better wait here.
Wait. He's seen us, Mr. Thurston.
Oh, look out. He's got a gun.
Call off. Drop it.
I'll drop it.
back, all of you. Koloff, stop.
Oh, he's running around behind that pump.
Yeah. Koloff, drop that gun.
Oh, right into the slide valve.
Come on.
Oh, that pump, Mr. Thurston. Look, it didn't even slow down.
Let's go on deck, get some fresh air.
Boy, what a night, Mr. X. 1,000,000 stars.
For once, you didn't make an overstatement.
Hey, what's that glow in the sky? Way up ahead there.
Honolulu, I imagine. They're due to dock at midnight.
Oh, so that's why there's parties going on all over the ship. Hey, maybe we ought to go and celebrate too, Mr. Thurston.
Some other time, Pegon.
Oh, cheer up, Mr. X. Everything's solved now. And so what if that Karloff's dead? He had it coming. And that phony countess. Hey, what are you going to do about her?
Nothing.
Nothing? You mean you're not going to run her in?
It wouldn't do any good. I've got no evidence on her. She's beaten a lot tougher cases than this.
Oh, but you can't just let her get away.
Oh, I doubt very much she'll get away, Pegon. 10 to 1 she has a buyer for that stabilizer waiting for in Honolulu.
Well, maybe
She'll
so.
collect a good deal of money from him.
Yeah, well,
And
sure.
when he opens that wooden case and finds there's nothing in it but steel cargo wedges, well, I think he might be a little vindictive.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And in the meantime, we take the real stabilizer back to United States.
The real stabilizer, huh? Oh, it's a valuable piece of military equipment, all right. It's a good thing it didn't fall into the wrong hands. But the way this shaky world goes wobbling around off balance, I don't think the real stabilizer has been invented yet. Now, there would be a cause for celebration.
Our star, Mr. Herbert Marshall, will return in just a moment. If you suffer from pains or headaches, neuritis or neuralgia, you should discover what many thousands have known for years, that Anacin brings incredibly fast, effective relief. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, Anacin contains not just one, but a combination of medically proven active ingredients in easy-to-take tablet form. Probably at some time you've received an envelope containing Anacin tablets from your physician or dentist. Thousands of people have been introduced to Anacin this way. Try Anacin yourself the next time you suffer from the pains of a headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. You'll be delighted at how quickly relief can come. Anacin is spelled A-N-A-C-I-N. Your druggist has Anacin in handy boxes of 12 and 30 tablets and economical family-size bottles of 50 and 100 for your medicine cabinet. Ask for Anacin today. Now, here is our star, Mr. Herbert Marshall.
Thanks for being with us. Those you heard in tonight's cast were Joan Banks, Will Wright, Peter Leeds, George Neese, Harry Lang, and Carlton Young. There's enough intrigue in next week's story to fill a book, and Ken finds himself right in the middle of it. And sat on his back as usual will be Leon Belasco as Pegon Zellschmidt. So join us, won't you, when next I return as the Man Called X. Good night.
The Man Called X is the Friday night feature on NBC's 5-show festival of comedy, music, mystery, and drama. Transcribed for you by Cannon Towels, famous for color, for design, for durability. Among towels, America's #1 best-seller. By RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. And by the makers of Anacin for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, neuralgia. The Man Called X, starring Herbert Marshall, is a J. Richard Kennedy production with music composed and conducted by Felix Mills. Tonight's story was written by Les Crutchfield. All characters and incidents on this program are fictitious, and any resemblance to actual characters or incidents is purely coincidental. Be sure to hear The Magnificent Montague with Monty Woolley, formerly heard on Friday, now brought to you as a Saturday night feature of NBC's All-Star Festival. And until next week, same time and station, this is Jack Latham saying good night for The Man Called X.
William Bendick stars in The Life of Riley. Enjoy it on NBC.
Welcome back. Well, I have to say this for the Canon towels ad. That, it was really boisterous. Not really the type of thing that I expect from a towel ad, to be honest. And I don't know if my expectations are too high. You know, towel ads, I guess, dignified or, I guess, relaxing, but that was something else. I did laugh at that whole bit where Pegon asked where they were going, and Ken Thurston said Hawaii, and Pegon said, I'm fine. And I think this is something that The Man Called X has with its humor. It's not that the jokes are particularly clever. However, I think that the degree they work, they are very well timed. And they're also delivered just very fast. So they just kind of take you by surprise. And that taking by surprise, adds to the humor factor. It's also interesting to see how the series is kind of evolving a little bit. Initially, it was really a mystery program with some spy background and a little bit of intrigue thrown in. We're starting to see, some very big action and some of those more stereotypical spy stuff that we associate with spy movies like Death Traps. That whole thing with getting steamed feels like it could have come out of a Bond movie. And of course, the way that the man who was thought to be dead actually ended up dying, they did telegraph that a bit. But that's kind of one of those classic things for programs of this era. And finally, we did get confirmation that apparently Ken Thurston's status is actually a well-known secret at the local phone company. All he's got to say is, this is Ken Thurston, and, do what I ask, and they're like, oh, yes, sir. So maybe some of those people who found out that he was the Man Called X didn't get it from Pegon at all. Maybe it came from these telephone operators. They ought to look into that. All right, well, now it's time to thank our Patreon supporter of the day. Thank you to Paul, Patreon supporter since April 2020, currently supporting the program at the Detective Sergeant level of $7.14 or more per month. Again, thanks so much for your support. And that will do it for today. If you are listening to this on YouTube, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and mark the notification bell. We'll be back next Wednesday with another episode of The Man Called X, but tomorrow we'll be bringing you Philo Vance, where...
Grace! Oh, Grace!
David! What in the world are you doing here at this hour?
Rather early, isn't it? You see, I have an appointment to interview your husband for my magazine this morning. Where did you come from?
Oh, I've been away for a few days. My train just got in a little while ago, and I took a cab from the station.
Really, darling? The fare from the station is about $2. Didn't the driver say $4.20?
Did he, David? He must have come the long way. Come on to the house.
Oh, I'm supposed to meet your husband out by the pool. He's going to demonstrate some tricks on trout fishing, which our readers will positively drool over.
Well, that magazine of yours gives you a good living, David. I wouldn't belittle it if I were you. Come on, I'll walk to the pool with you.
Well, if it gave me a good enough living, you'd be married to me.
Instead of Morton?
Instead of J. Morton Zachary.
You think it's his money I married?
It certainly wasn't because you were in love with those specimens of deep-sea fishing which are mounted in his den. Or with the fact that he was perhaps the leading authority on the use of wet coachman flies for trout fishing.
You're quite sure I would have married you if you'd had Jonathan's money?
Reasonably. You know, Grace, I don't think I'll ever change about you. I think I've loved you from the first moment I saw you.
Thank you. Well, here's the pool. You know, it's a sort of symbol of this whole place, all white and large. David!
I see it, Grace. There's a body floating in the middle of the pool. Come on.
It's Jonathan.
Look what's lying on the edge of the pool. A fishing rod. A trout fishing rod.
And the hook is attached to Jonathan.
I hope you'll be with us then. In the meantime, do send your comments to box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter @Radio Detectives and become one of our friends on Facebook. Facebook.com/Radio Detectives. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.